everybody. Welcome to another episode of Big Stage Conversation. Today we're going to be doing a little business meet and greet coming to you live out of Club Diamond, hosted by my man Cal. All right, so before we get started, man, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming in and showing some support and love. The whole concept behind this meet and greet today is for our local entrepreneurs to get together, to share their wisdom, their knowledge, rub some elbows together, exchange business card, and share their knowledge with anyone that's interested. All right, so with that being said, Cal, you got the mic.
Thank you, Sid. Hey, thank you everybody for coming out here. Just like you said, the purpose of this is all of us to share knowledge. You know, there are a lot of black entrepreneurs out here that has a lot of things that's going on, but nobody knows what you're doing. So in order for us to build and to grow together, we need to have these more frequently. Do meets and greets, sit down, like you said, rub elbows, share ideas with each other, stuff like that. Prior to COVID in 2020, I actually started an LLC out here called Collective Connection, where my goal was to bring all the black entrepreneurs together and start opening up multiple businesses out here, basically trying to build a black Wall Street here in Okinawa. That is still a part of my plan that's ongoing, so I'm trying to start with the people here, and we work from there. So I've been out here now about 13 years, and within 13 years, I've owned 4 different businesses out here. COVID shut a lot of them down, but everybody knows how COVID was. So, but this is time to grow, this is time to rebuild, and my goal is for us to grow and build together. This isn't about me, it's about all of us coming together, about all of us working together and doing things together. So I really have a special guest here, Mr. Jesse Burns, that has a lot of knowledge and information that he's going to share with you. Maurice here, he has a lot of knowledge and information that he's going to share because he owns business out here also. So if you guys have any questions, go out, come up to the mic or stay where you are and just ask a question that you have. If we can't answer it today, hit me, myself up, or hit Sid up. We'll try to get the answer back for you because something, I don't know everything, but you know, we can find answers. Okay? Without further ado, if you don't mind, Mr. Burns. Okay, you're the first one I see, sir. You're on the stage, sir. Go that way. You won't have to trip over nothing.
All right. Man, you met the sharpest man on Okinawa. Every time I see him, he cleaning in the silver nickel. How you doing, Mr. Burns?
So woke up another day.
I hear you. Hey, right now, man, I have on the platform Mr. Jesse Burns. He is the owner and proprietor of the R&B Cafe Lounge, Twins. You know what I'm saying? So this man does a little bit of everything. He cooks, he DJs. Man, he's just a plethora of knowledge. So, Mr. Burns, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
I retired from the Marine Corps. Let's see, 31 years ago.
Okay.
1992. Was that 31 years ago? Yeah, 31 years ago I retired.
Okay.
You know, indirectly, I've got 48 years in Okinawa, Japan. Live in Okinawa. I did go back to the United States one time, other than military, to live, stayed 1 year, and came back. Yes.
So what brought you back?
What brought me back? Well, Okinawa is a very quiet, peaceful island. People live a long time. And back where I was in the United States, there was issues.
Okay.
So I said, I'm going back overseas.
I hear. I ain't mad at that. So, one of the things that we wanted to do was really kind of spread some knowledge about local businesses here, and kind of for anyone who was interested in starting a business, you know, what would be one of the first steps they need to do to kind of get started?
Well, one of the first steps for me, I have to say me, because I am permanent resident. Now, I'm permanent resident without spouse. I do have a spouse. My wife is Japanese, but I am permanent resident without spouse. Now, initially, when I had resident, it was resident with spouse, and then I requested resident without spouse. Okay. Doing the business and everything, we could still do it together with spouse, but my name is on the license. I have a barbecue, Jesse's Barbecue Parlor on the first floor of the building I'm in.
Okay.
And on the third floor is my club. But the license and everything is under my name.
Okay.
So as far as starting a business, it doesn't require as much as a lot of people think it does. You know, my barbecue parlor, only thing it required was getting the license and everything, went out to the health department and going through their classes for sanitation and everything, and what they expect in operating of the business. They come out and inspect it, and you buy your product and you begin.
Okay. Awesome.
So one thing that you don't want to do is go out and borrow all these tens of thousands of dollars to start a business. You don't have to do that. Even when I opened my club on the 3rd floor, the only thing I spent was roughly about $1,200 to get the keys to the place, clean it up, remodel it the way that I want it, and then bring my product in, and whatever the amount of product you want to bring in, you know, starting out, that's your cost.
Okay, so that whole process of getting the lease, or did you lease the building, or are you
Renting the building.
Renting the building?
Yes.
How difficult was that process?
Not difficult at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
All
Of course, with the spouse went down, filling all the paperwork and everything out, stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's not, again, permanent resident though.
Right.
Just, let's say for instance, if there was a serviceman or lady here, military, well, I want to open up a business.
Right.
To my knowledge, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
And I hear that a lot. So would it be safe to say basically anyone who has a SOFA status, not married to a local national, it would be difficult then to start a business in a structured facility?
Without a doubt, as far to my knowledge,
Okay.
all the years I've been here.
So
Yes, they would not, to my knowledge, they would not allow you to, Japanese government, to my knowledge now, your SOFA, they're gonna have some roadblocks there, you know.
Okay. So Cal, you yourself, you've been over here for a while. You actually own a business. You have a couple of facilities here with the Club Diamond and the lounge. What was your process?
Similar to what he said, once you buy, for me, I'm a resident also. I'm not permanent yet, but I'm a resident. I'm married to a local.
Okay.
Just like him, everything that I own is in my name because I am a resident. Nothing is in my spouse's name. My bank account, nothing is in her name. But for us, once we find a location, a building that we want, whether we want to buy it or rent it, it's literally deposit, rent, light, water, and the facility becomes yours. Once you get that facility, it's up to you on how you want to renovate it, remodel it based on your landlord's agreement. So it's not that hard. Yes, sir.
When you file for permanent residency, is that like announcing your citizenship?
No. We're still American citizens.
What was this question?
Did we denounce our American citizenship?
Oh no, we can't do that. That's been asked several times, because we lose everything. We use Social Security, retirement, military retirement, all of that. Yeah, you don't want to do that. And a lot of people, when they hear permanent resident, they think that we're Japanese now. No, we can do everything that Japanese do with the exception of vote. Yeah, we cannot vote unless they changed it. That's the only thing we can't do, but we can vote. We can have our own bank account. I've had a bank account here for 20-something years, no, 30-something years.
Okay.
And you need a bank, you need a local bank account.
Okay.
When I got a bank account years ago, it was extremely easy. You know, of course, went in, again, Japanese and did the paperwork and everything, and got an account. So other than that, and of course taxes, I pay both Japanese and U.S. taxes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Now, they're not, one thing which was surprising when it comes to paying taxes, and I think it's important for guys to know that has Japanese spouses. Now, this is, I don't know if it's a case by case, but I can tell you in my case, years ago, when I was filing my income tax here, of course, I'm paying $3,000–4,000 a year because I'm filing singly because my wife is local. And then I got educated on something. The gentleman told me, he said, well, you're filing single, so that's why you are paying this. I said, oh, okay. He said, if you were filing jointly with your spouse, I said, but she's local. He said, it doesn't make a difference. He did my taxes up, whole 9 yards, and I said, okay, so how much is it I owe? He said, you owe 0. Wait a minute. By filing with my spouse, it's 0? He goes, yes, that's the way the system is. There's only one requirement that they had, and that was we both had to show our bank books. She has to show to the guy that's doing our taxes, that show my bank, but she had to show her bank book. Now, some spouses do not want to show those bank books. They'll tell you, some of our local spouses, their money theirs, your money's yours, okay? But my spouse had no problem with that, so that was a plus.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So that's one aspect of it. So for individuals such as myself, I am social status here, and I am an entrepreneur. But I'm not in the position to where I'm actually working out of a structured facility. I have what's called a home-based business. Now I have a stateside EIN number, and with that I get a lot of tax write-offs. So one of the things that I wanted initially was to see as many local entrepreneurs in this area come together and exchange business cards, so we can know, hey, like my man, your wife is an esthetician, am I saying that correctly? Your wife, she does nails and hair, things of that nature. So my thing is, a lot of us are on social media, and and if we're not in that immediate friend circle, some of us may not know who those people are. So hopefully tonight will be an extension of many more of these to come, and we can exchange more information. And I can tell you personally, the first time that I actually got involved with a meet and greet was in Florida. I had a photography business called Big Sets Pictures. I was doing good, I was doing photography at local bars. I had my own little private studio in my home, and of course the little drug dudes back in the day, I would go to their parties, take pictures, put those pictures on a disc, sell a disc for $50, $100, depending on the size, the number of pictures on the disc, give it to them, boom, they put it in their rides, their little big screens, bump it throughout the streets, and I was making a killing. But it wasn't until I went to my first meet and greet and started brushing elbows with other entrepreneurs, and they'd be like, oh, I didn't realize you did pictures, because some of these people don't go to clubs, and that was my primary, source of income at the time. So I started going to these meet and greets, rubbing elbows. I started doing business with corporations. I got a contract with a school. I started working with local artists. I was taking their photos, their artwork, and making them digital portfolios. So the benefit behind this is extremely lucrative. So definitely take advantage of this. I hope everybody can take something away from this today, take it back and share it with their friends, and we can continue to make this thing grow. So are there any questions for anyone out there in the audience right now? Anybody have any questions, as far as getting started, establishing an LLC, getting an EIN for a home-based business or anything of that nature? What are some of the benefits that may come from that?
They said, can you explain on how to get the EIN?
Okay, for me, what I did is I went back to, I contacted like my state register office, and you establish a business name. And it cost me right at about $200. And I think each state varies. I basically let them know, hey, this is my business, there's some codes. You go through a code, say it's just a catering business, service business, whatever. A code comes with that. You do that paperwork, it registers with the state. It took me about 2-3 days. They go right, they come back. I get a call back saying, hey, this has been confirmed. This is now your business name, and they give you an EIN number. Now that EIN number is very important, because when you do business with other people or other companies, whatnot, you have, what is it, 1099? Am I saying that correctly? 1099, and that's basically covers you and that individual, because at the end of the year you write all that stuff off. So yeah, that's really important, man. So, and with that, especially with a home-based business, you are eligible for, I'll say, there are 475 tax write-offs that you are eligible for. As I was explaining to my frat, this cell phone, this is a $1,300 phone. It costs me nothing. I write it off. My cell phone bill, my internet bill, anything that I do dealing with my business, I write it off. During COVID, because I had a home-based business, a lot of people were waiting on those stimulus checks, right? You know, some of us got them, some of us didn't. I don't know, I don't want to get in nobody else's pockets. But if you have a home-based business, you are eligible up to $10,000 grant. So I wasn't hurt, you know what I mean? So it's little things like that, but you got to structure it correctly. You know, one of the things that I'm getting ready to do that I didn't do last year, but I'm planning on doing this year, with a home-based business, you can sign your children up as employees in your business. Some suckers can sweep the floor, they can pick up trash, they can unload the car. They're employee, and I think you can, I forget the exact dollar value of that, but I'm looking into that, and I'm planning on making that happen this year, 2023. So it's a ton of things that we can do with the home-based business. If you're renting a house and or mortgage, whatever space that you're using as your office space, your studio, whatever, that square footage is written off. So you got a 2,300 square foot home and you're using 1,500 of it as an office space, you write that space off. And you know, they take your mortgage and or your rent, and you need to deduct it and do their, I like to say VA math, but their tax math and all that stuff is deducted. So there are a lot of benefits coming with that. And I call taking advantage of those tax write-offs is cutting out that middleman being interest. And I say that because I don't care how much you promote, I don't care how many promotions you get in your job, as your pay goes up, so does that thing called taxes. So definitely take advantage of that. Is there anybody out there in the audience that can testify to that? Because I don't want to just be the only one talking here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he gave you some key information because once you own your own business, literally everything you do becomes a tax write-off. Me taking a taxi here, I get a receipt because I'm coming to my business. When I take my staff out to go eat, it's business. Me sitting here talking to you guys, it's not business. Yes.
What's the name of your receipt, by the way?
Roshu Show.
Roshu
Roshu Show. In Japan, that's an official receipt. When I go shopping for my businesses, when I go to the store, I have to ask for a Roshu Show. That's whether I'm going to Maitland's, Sake Mart, anywhere I go, I have to get what's called a Roshu Show. There's an official receipt where they stamp it, showing that this is for a business. So once you become a business owner, no matter what it is that you're doing, whether it's a family gathering, once you talk about, hey, I own a bar, I sweep floors for a living, it just became a business meeting. So everything that you do becomes a business once you become a business. And one thing I want to let everybody know, whether it's here or in America, once you get your EIN, the next car you buy, put it under your business. Don't put it in your
Absolutely.
If you decide to buy a house or rent a house, put it in your business. Do not put it in your name. Because anything that happens to that car or your house, it falls on the business and not you. You're protected because of your business. And I think for your kids working for you, it's up to $25,000 a year. And for your spouse, I think it's $50,000. Because my wife works for me. Yes. Any more questions?
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of information, and I know it can be overwhelming, especially if you're not already dealing in this world. But I like to shout out people, my mentors that are already in. Dr. Lynn Richardson. I know, have any of you guys heard of Dr. Lynn Richardson? Man, she is a financial consultant to the celebrities. That sister has a quote that she says all the time that I take near and dear to my heart. Rich people stay rich because they act poor. Poor people stay poor because they act rich. Poor people stay poor because they act rich in front of other poor people. And to me, that's just pathetic. But we see it all the time. You know, back in my hood, you go past any project, you're gonna see a Mercedes-Benz sitting on 24s chromed out, acting rich, broke his head up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, so also to continue to shout out Dr. Lynn Richardson. So if you have questions about how to start a home-based business, man, she has programs out there that will walk you through that. And this is just a personal shout out to Dr. Lynn Richardson from me to her. Man, I appreciate this sister for all the knowledge that she's dropped. You can look her up online, drlynnrichardson.com. She has a step-by-step program on how you can get started on this. And I think it's only like 19 bucks. And that's the basic one. And then you got the platinum package, whatever. Trust me, if you're really serious about taking advantage of this stuff, definitely look her up. And there's a ton of stuff out there, but I quote her because I know her stuff is legit. So definitely take advantage of that. Back to you, Mr. Burns. Hey, I really appreciate you coming on the stage and sharing the information with us. Any closing words before you step down?
No, that's it. There is, for civilians over here that are living here, military retired. One of the good things is if you are a resident, we have the option of going off base to hospitals and on base to the hospital. And I do highly recommend that you get Japanese insurance. If you are a retired military, your wife is a local national, get Japanese insurance. And you can go to any hospital, off base or clinic that you want to, and you don't have to wait. If you're not feeling good, you walk in, and every place I've been in service was like fast. It was, and if I recall, I think whatever the bill is, like 10% of whatever your treatment is.
Okay.
I had a PET CT, which is 300,000 yen, which say roughly $3 grand. I paid $300.
Okay.
You know.
So that's like your copay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can go to any hospital there is, because there's a lot of things that pertains some health issues where base cannot take care of it,
Right.
i.e. radiation. If you had cancer, they do not have radiation treatment. If you are either military retired or active duty, you have to go to Hawaii for radiation treatment. Okay. Another one with heart. Even military active duty, a lot of people have heart problems. To my knowledge, this has changed. You go to the big heart hospitals off base with that. But and the treatment I've gotten off base was fantastic.
Okay.
And when I say fantastic, I'm talking about going in and went to one hospital and needed to get like 6 tests. X-ray, EKG, MRI, and something else. I had to get like 6 different tests. And my wife says, and I said, okay, we need to make an appointment to come and get the results. And she goes, why come back? I mean, what do you mean? She says, we'll have results in a couple hours. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me we just had 6 tests done and I get the results in less than 2 hours? Yes. Or if I'm on base at the hospital, not my current system on base, it would take, to my knowledge and experience, a month, 2 months to go back for the results. And every test that I've gotten off base, I had the results in less than 2 hours.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing. Well, Mr. Burns, once again, thank you for all the knowledge that you dropped on us today, and we appreciate it. Once again, can you tell us what are your operating hours out of Twins R&B Cafe Lounge?
Normally, Twins R&B Cafe Lounge is down into the Wasi area. I'm open after 8 o'clock on Fridays and Saturdays. Only Fridays and Saturdays, but before coming down, shoot me a message, let me know you're coming down, because like tonight, we closed up to come up here, so there are events I go out and attend, and I might be closed.
Okay, we definitely appreciate you coming through. All right, once again, I'm gonna give it up for Mr. Burns. Thank you for coming through, brother. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Hey.
Great speaking.
Thank you. All right, so on the topic of, I know we shifted from business and started talking about health. So any military veteran over here that has service-connected disability stuff that you are receiving or rating on, there's a program called FMP, Foreign Medical Program. If you're not familiar with that, I highly recommend that you sign up for that. That way you can go to an orthopedic doctor, heart doctor, any type of doctor, and be seen. You may have to pay up front, but you take that receipt and you send it to the VA and they reimburse you on that. So that is a service that a lot of us, we all have it, but we don't always take advantage of it for simple fact. Some of us just don't know. So definitely want to put that plug out there. So are there any questions for anybody out there? At this point, man, the floor is open. The floor is open on anything. Talk to me, brother.
I got one for permanent residents.
Okay.
That are the business owners. So I see that you guys say you permanent resident and then lease or rent a facility? Is it a little bit more stringent to, let's say, own the building?
No.
Has that ever
No,
been
it's not.
something that works?
It's not. If we want to buy the building, we can, and it depends on the owner if they selling the building and the land. That's what you have to be careful about out here. Sometimes they'll sell you the building, but they will not sell you the land. So I've had opportunity to buy a building for like $200,000, but they didn't want to give me the land. So if you're not giving me the land, I don't want your building. So you can buy a building if that's your desire. You can buy the building. If they're selling the building, you can. I can tell you right now, the Day Marday on Gate 2 Street, that whole building is for sale. You don't buy it.
You better have
Not the land.
Not the land. Not the land.
I mean, Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Like I said, the one
Give you an example, there's a lot next door to my building, and that lot might be as wide as this room, probably twice as long. And that lot is $1 million. Yeah. That it is, the owner of it is American Black guy. Yeah, he owns it. And, but that, he was there last, 2 weeks ago, and he's putting, some businesses in there. And, we were talking, and I said, so what is the price? If you want to sell this right now, what is the exact price right now? You know, I was like, we have got to be 50, but land is expensive. Well, and actually, in the Awasi area, a lot of people not familiar with the Awasi area. The Awasi area is in the process of development, and this will be one of the largest places on Okinawa. Right now, off the coast of, I don't know if everyone knows where the comprehensive park is at on Awasi. Okay, very close to the comprehensive park. They're under construction now for a brand new landfill island being built with the largest beach.
If you go out that area, you'll see them building dirt into the ocean.
Yeah, it's like 800 meters man-made beach. It's one of the largest landfill setups that they've got. And then Awasi, they're developing Awasi all the way from the comprehensive park all the way out to what's called the Constantine area. So that street, which is called Awasi Bay Street, the price on there in the last 5 years on rent and on the business and whatever has skyrocketed up because they're building so much now in the area now. They're really developing a lot.
Last year, there's a couple areas like that. Yonatan is enough right now.
Yeah, Yonatan, yeah. Yonatan was, at one time, Yonatan was, I call it a strange place.
Yeah.
Because Yonatan people were Yonatan people. You weren't Yonatan, they didn't want you out there. But Yonatan now,
It's still strange.
yeah, developed a lot. The old Kadena Circle, started there, and went out. And they started now all the big new shopping centers and malls and businesses they've done out in the Yonatan area.
So I live out in the area, close to Cape Santo. Me and my wife moved over there for about 2 years, actually over 2 years now. We moved in, the median home price was about, maybe about $270 USD, $270,000. Now the prices are going up, there's more business coming in. A lot of it is geared toward tourism. Since COVID is kind of died down now, tourism is picking up with a vengeance. And a lot of folks are moving in. There's a lot of companies that are buying up land left and right, even buying up residential areas, specifically for Airbnbs.
Yeah,
Look at Airbnbs in that area right now, which is ridiculous.
And a lot of the mainland are moving from mainland now down to Okinawa. And a lot of them started moving after we had the big tsunami in 2013.
That was actually
2010.
10, was it? After the tsunami, then a lot of people, a lot of older people moved from mainland Japan down to Okinawa down there.
Hey, real quick before I shift gears over here, Cal, I want to kind of go back to that whole buying the building versus the land. What are the pros and cons of buying the building and not purchasing land? What are the pros and or the cons?
So if you get the building, that's great. The reason why the landowner don't want to give you the land, for example, everybody know Park Avenue, BC Street, there's a plan to tear down one side of BC Street, and they're gonna make that a 2-lane road. So now, if I own that land, the government has to pay me in order to take some of my land in order to build that street. So that's why a lot of the owners don't want to give you the land. Gate 2, same thing. The left side where the Coastal Music is, they have a plan to tear down all those buildings over there. So those people don't want to sell you that land because they're going to get money from the land. If you own that building, you have to keep a good record book on how much you've been making a month, making a year, and they're going to pay you out that amount of money that you can show that you're making in order to tear down your building. But you won't get the land money, you'll just get your business money that you're going to lose. So either way it goes, it's a win-win. But for me, I don't want something that's in the future development to get destroyed and taken away. You know, I'm looking at legacy, I'm looking at long-term. When I'm no longer here, my kids can run it, you know what I'm saying?
That's actually a big part of what happens to a lot of families. A lot of families will hold on to the land, they will sit there and tear house after house down. They will maintain the land because sooner or later that land, that value of that land will skyrocket. And that's what's happening right now. You know, a lot of that land is skyrocketing right now. And folks are like, oh, yeah, you want to build what? You want to build a resort? You want to build an apartment building? Okay, we'll pay me about 1.5 million.
So I'm gonna let you guys know something, don't add this to the recording. This between us. So out there in Hanson, right, Swamp area,
Oh, yeah, no,
they're ready to build an airport out there. So what y'all think is having all that land out there?
Where at?
Swamp.
Oh, yeah, and also,
Yeah, so they're ready to build an airport, a local airport. So they're gonna, I don't know if you guys know about Iwakuni. Iwakuni has a joint airport. One is marine, one is local. They're looking at doing the exact same thing in the Hanson area. Within the next 10, 15, y'all know how the Okinawas work. It may be the next 20 years. But if you can get that land in that area now, there'll be a couple of people already looking at a couple of plots out there. Imagine how much money you're gonna make in the future. Ready to build an apartment, a house, turn it to an Airbnb, get you a Family Mart, get you a Lawson, any of those type of businesses to build out there in that area, because it's, I don't know if I've been a swab there, there's nothing out there. Nothing. So just something to think about. And then the reason why I'm starting to collect the connection is for the people that are SOFA status. Once you join my LLC, everything will go through my LLC and it'll be your business. For all SOFA status people. Make sense? All right, we've been at it.
You know me, I ain't start recording till we go, so that's a good information. Yeah. So, that's all
for the
good.
permanent resident here, one thing I just want to share with you. On your, if you, I think a lot of you already know it, on your card, on your permanent resident card, years ago in Okinawa, after the reversion in 1972, if you were a permanent resident, you were a permanent resident and it was free. Well, years later, they actually put an expiration date. So now you see 7 years for it. Also, the thing is, you notice where it says status, where mine says permanent resident. Now, a lot of them say permanent spouse of Japanese. I do recommend that you get permanent resident without spouse. Now, some spouses can challenge you. We'll tell you, why do you want without me? You know, well, what if she passed away? Then, you know, it's like you have to go through, you know, and unfortunately, what if you did get divorced? You know, again, you have to go through. So I got some friends of mine with a spouse would not help and support them to get resident without spouse. But there's a lot of pluses to the resident without spouse, without her being on the same card.
Also, one thing, you say something, go, if you're married to a local, go down to the city office and make sure that you are head of the house. It is very important. That's all I got.
Hey, you know what, Cal? On that note, man, I'm getting ready to wrap up this particular podcast, but the conversation can keep rolling, man.
Okay.
So, like I said, this will be the first of many to come. Hopefully, we get more entrepreneurs out here so we can rub elbows a little more deeper, get these business cards passed out, spread the word. I would love to see this thing get to the capacity of what we're doing in the States. But before I close, man, a couple of little quotes I want to close with, man. As you guys can see, I got posted up here, mindset over everything. Man, if your mind is not right to be an entrepreneur, you need to either get your mind right or don't even put your foot in this game, man, because it's a serious. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to do your due diligence, do the work necessary to keep the business going. What is your why? Everything that I do, I have a purpose. For every account that I have, there's a purpose. You know, my children, my wife, you know, the people that I represent, my frat, everything that I do is part of my why. Find your purpose. Everybody has a purpose. If you don't know what that is, you might want to sit down with you and your God and figure out what that thing is. Because when you are working within your purpose, you're not working. You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing. And then things will be flowing a lot easier. Utilize your gifts. Whatever your gifts may be. You may be a great cook. You may be a graphic artist, a design artist, or anything of that nature. Whatever it is, be the best you can be. But once you realize what that gift is, tap into it and utilize it. And that's about it, man. I could go on for days and days, man. There's going to be more podcasts to come. Hopefully, I'm going to get each and every one of you guys here at some point so you can kind of tell me your story, because your story can be an inspiration to somebody else. And that's one of the concept behind Big Says Conversations. I believe everybody has a story. And then that story, you know, everybody has gone through something at some point in their life. And whatever it is that you went through, it was meant for you. And guess what? Whatever you went through, the next person may not have been able to go through. But your testimony could be something that help inspire them or motivate them to keep going. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I'm about to wrap this up. Any closing words? Cal, you got any closing words before we?
Hey, I really appreciate you guys coming out here. I really hope that everybody got something out of this. We really want to do another one of these, and me and Sid already told, we're going to try to get like pamphlets with like a lot of like information for you guys. You guys can look stuff up and stuff like that, so you guys can have it, take it with you and stuff. Hopefully everybody was taking some good notes. But the one thing I always tell people, and when I did my podcast with Sid before, and this is my biggest quote, I tell people, fear is a dream killer. Fear has killed a lot of people's dreams. You cannot be scared to be an entrepreneur. You cannot be scared to start your own business. If you want to go out there and do it, just do it. If it fails, find out, go back and look at your steps and find out where did you go wrong, and try it again. Understanding this, like myself, Jesse, Maurice, we're all foreigners living in another country. You think I wasn't scared to open up a bar in a foreign country? Yeah, I was. We're here 13 years later. Business still going good. So all that I tell you, if there's something that you want to do, do it. Like I teach my kids, we don't use the word can't. And that's all I have.
And with that, we're going to wrap this up. Thank y'all for coming out. Appreciate you showing me some love.